Today is the feast of the guardian angels, so let's just talk about angels for a brief 5 minutes, the supernatural. Because we all know this, there is a longing for some evidence, some proof, for signs of the supernatural. Look at all the supernatural shows that are going on right now, ghost hunters and people investigating the paranormal, which I think is all possibly true. There's probably a good part of it that's just all sensationalized, people running around with what looks like Ghostbusters equipment. But then there are people who are authentically looking and trying to seek some sort of signs or confirmation for a world beyond our sensory perception. But we believe in it as Catholics. We believe in angels and archangels, specifically guardian angels in our lives, their intercessory role for us. We take that belief from our Lord, who mentions them in the gospel, that the angels will watch over us, behold his Father's face. They are constantly praising God and also attentive to us, all part of their angelic being and their presence. But we know this, as kids, we had a really pretty vast invisible world that got decimated as we aged. No Tooth Fairy, no Santa, no Easter Bunny. All those invisible friends that we saw in artwork, except I don't think I ever saw a picture of the Tooth Fairy, but saw a lot of pictures of the Easter Bunny and Santa. As you get older, you realize they were wonderful things that your parents did to make your life seem a little more magical and fun as a kid, so I don't fault that at all. But of course, that leaves you to wonder when you're a skeptical teenager, what else in the invisible world might be false too. I think that's very natural. And of course, it really is easier not to think about God than it is to think about God. Because if you do think about God, you have to ask, well, what does God want? Does he want anything from us? Does God care about us? Does God have involvement with us? In what way? There's just a ton of questions you have to ask and at least be content to wrestle with if you believe in God. If you don't believe in God, you don't have to wrestle with anything. You just do what you want, pray you have a long life, and check outcomes, and you're done. But of course, we believe in a supernatural world. Are hauntings possible? You know, we're in October, so we're all getting ready for Halloween. Sure. Who knows why? I mean, are they individuals lingering on with some sort of attachment to this life? Is it part of their purgatory? I don't know. I believe it's real. I believe it's very possible. I've done a lot of house blessings. But of course, the most supernatural thing in the world that I celebrate every day is Mass and Jesus Christ coming to the altar, that the Lord blesses us with his presence, which vanquishes anything else in the world. Even though he comes in a seemingly passive form, in the form of bread and wine that is changed into his body and blood. But at every Mass, that little veil between real reality and this passing reality opens just a little bit so that we can join the angels and saints in praising the eternal reality. The most present persons in any experience we have, and any conversation we're engaged in, and anything we are doing, the Holy Trinity is even more present than I would be or the other persons in the experience or conversation. Something just to be mindful of and to think about. You know, we are always in God's presence. But at Mass, in a special way, we step out of our chronological time to enter into sacred time. And in sacred time, we join them in their adoration of God, in their gratitude to God, in their love to God. Again, God does not need angels, does not need humanity, he doesn't even need creation. All this, I believe, we believe as Christians, is the overflowing result of his goodness and his generosity. You know, we are the ones who are changed by loving God, by worshiping God, by seeking God. We're the ones who come to know, this paradoxical being who is changeless and ever new. You know, the words that we try to use to describe God just flounder, but at least try to give us some idea of what we believe about God. You know, changeless and ever new. For the most part, if we think about changeless, we think it would be ever bored. And I think that's what some people fear about heaven. Heaven's going to be boring. could be farther from the truth. It will be the most dynamic, not to use the word too much because it's running around in Catholic circles, the most dynamic experience that we could hope for. And our angels are there trying to guide us there. So talk to you later about some other things. Goodbye.